Okay, we are live. This is the Cam's Dare to Be Different Hangout. It's a pleasure to see everyone. My name is Tangy Frederick, and I'm Camille's manager. And I just want to thank everyone for coming on. And what we're going to do very quickly is we're just going to have Camille take over. There's a lot of information that she wants to share with all of you. She wants to help empower all of you and answer any questions that you may have. So, by the way, if you have any questions whatsoever, please do email them at cams. What's your email address again? I just forgot it.
It's
Cams.
camsdtbd@gmail.com. So if
Perfect.
anyone missed that, it's camsdtbd@gmail.com.
Perfect. Okay, Camille, take it over.
All right, everyone. If you didn't already know, my name is Camille Paddock, and I'm the founder of Cam's Dare to Be Different. I'm just going to start out by sharing a little bit of my story. So in the 4th grade, I was losing spots of hair all over my head, and me and my mom didn't really know what it was, and we'd gone to numerous doctors, and finally we went to one doctor who told us that I had a disease called alopecia areata. Now, alopecia areata is an autoimmune disease that causes hair loss and a bunch of other horrible things, and since I was losing my hair, all my friends started saying things to me and sort of making comments about it every time we got into arguments, and that's when the bullying began. So from the 4th grade all the way up into the 8th grade, I started getting bullied really, really bad. And the worst part of it was probably in the 7th grade. I had lost both of my eyebrows. As you can see, I only have one of them right now, and the other one's gone. And these girls were no longer my friends because this had been going on for so long. And every time I'd see them, they'd just make comments to me and tell me that I was a freak or a hairless cat, and that they would meow at me in the hallways, and they would tell me that I was too skinny, and they would throw things at me at lunch and shove me in the hallways, and just anytime they could, they would make me feel terrible about myself. And it got to the point where I was done. I was so depressed that I wanted to kill myself. I had no friends. The only thing I had was my schoolwork and my family. And I think that if I didn't have such a supportive family, and if I didn't have my mom behind me, always on my back, telling me that I could get through this, that it was going to get better, I probably wouldn't be here today. So I'm really thankful to have my mom in my life. The bullying finally stopped about in the 8th grade. We had gone to the school 5 or 6 times throughout middle school, and nothing had happened. The principal would tell us that he would take care of it and nothing would be done, and all of us, the bullies and me, would be put into a room, and the counselor would be there, and the girls would tell me that they're sorry and that they're just having a bad day, and they'd get a slap on the wrist, and then they'd be gone, and then the bullying would start, and it was just a never-ending circle of that. So I was fed up, and I wrote a 3-page letter to my school superintendent explaining everything that had been going on, telling him how the school was handling it and how nothing had been done. And the next day, he actually came into my school, called me into the office, and told me that the bullying was going to stop, that he was going to put an end to it. And he did. And ever since then, the bullying stopped, but the girls have never apologized to me to this day. So that's just a little bit of my story. And if anyone has any questions, they can send them in. Tangy, are there any questions yet? No, I don't think so. No? Okay. Well, I have a lot of events coming up that I'm really excited about. I'm doing a talk at TEDx Youth event November 15th that I'm really, really excited about. I've spoken to a few schools this year, and if you want me to get into your school, you can go ahead and talk to your principal, and you can even look on my Facebook page, talk to me about it, and if your principal says okay, then I will come and speak at your school, and it's really fun when I do that. I've gone to 2 schools this year. And Tangy, are there any questions yet? Oh, yep, they're all questions. Okay. So the first question is, why do you think people bully? Personally, people bully for tons of reasons, whether it's their self-esteem or they have things going on at home where they just lash out at others. But I think the main reason, for girls at least, is that was my problem. These girls were very jealous that I had a really loving family and they didn't have that at home. So I think that sort of triggered them to start bullying me. But what I always say is you never know what someone has to go home to, and that's why you should never bully anyone. And I know that a lot of people don't really think that they're bullying when they do it, but one word is all it takes for someone to go home and kill themselves or think about doing or do anything bad to themselves. It's just one word, and a lot of people think that verbally bullying someone isn't that bad because it's just girls being girls or whatever, but I can tell you from personal experience that verbally bullying someone is way worse than being hit, because when you're punched or when you're stomped or when you're kicked on, it's one thing and then it's done and it's over with. But when someone calls you a freak or someone calls you a hairless cat, that stays in your head, and it just keeps repeating and it keeps repeating, and it never really goes away, and it stays with you all the time. And when you go home and when you're by yourself in your room, that's all you can think about. And then you start thinking, well, am I really a freak? Am I really a hairless cat? And that just eats away at you, and I think that's the worst thing. So I always tell everyone to always be nice, because you just never know what someone has to go home to. So the next question is, did you ever feel ashamed about telling people you were bullied? Yes, I did. When the bullying got really bad was in the 6th and 7th grade, and I had tons and tons of Facebook messages, text messages, voicemails from private phone callers, and they were even posting on my Facebook wall where everyone can see. And I hadn't told my mom at first because I wanted to handle it myself, and I thought I could handle it myself. And she ended up finding out because she looked at my Facebook and saw all of the messages and everything that they're saying. So she came to me and she's like, "What's all this? I thought these girls were your friends." And at first I didn't want to tell her, and I was like, "No, no, no, it's okay." But you should never, ever, ever be ashamed if you're being bullied, because that's not your fault at all. And you should always ask for help, whether it's your mom, your dad, someone you trust, principal, anyone. You should always go to someone, because there's always going to be help out there, and there will always be someone to support you. The third question is, did you decide to form your nonprofit, or did your family want you to form it? I actually decided to do just a Facebook page because my mom was telling me that I needed somewhere to vent about my feelings and just get all my anger and my frustration and everything just out, because everything was just bottling up, and at this point I was just angry that I was still being bullied and that my school was doing nothing for me. So I decided to just do a Facebook page because Facebook was the cool thing back then, and I just called it Dare to Be Different at first because I have alopecia, and everyone is different in some way. My different is obviously alopecia, but your different could be that you're in band, or that you play this sport, or you have this hobby. So I called it Dare to Be Different. And on the page at first, I just sort of vented about everything that was going on. And then I started to get messages from kids all over the world telling me that they were being bullied too, and that it was so inspiring that I started this little group. And from there, it just grew and grew and grew into this big organization where 2 years ago I would have laughed in your face if you told me I was going to have this big organization, because I never thought that it would go this far. But I'm so grateful to have everyone in my life today and have everyone helping me, and meeting all these people has been just absolutely incredible. The fourth question is, did the bullies ever hit you, and how did you get away? Okay, so no, luckily I was never physically bullied. I mean, things were thrown at me and I was shoved a little bit, but I was never physically hit. It was more of the sneakiness and words and Facebook and messages and phone calls and things like that. So that was pretty lucky for me. But I really don't think that girls are that physical. At least girly girls, like the girls who were bullied me, were pretty girly. The fifth question is, when you were bullied, how did that make you feel? Well, I was feeling all sorts of emotions. At first, I was really upset, and I always asked why. Why is this happening to me? You know, why is my hair falling out? Why couldn't this happen to my sister? Why couldn't this happen to my brother? Why couldn't this happen to anyone else but me? And I was depressed for a while. I stopped eating. I had no friends. I just wanted to stay in my room and cry all the time. I never went out. I barely even came out of my room. But then, after going into the school for the fourth time and having nothing being done and having walk out of that room when we were talking with the bullies and them saying, you know, we're sorry, we're not going to do it again. And then we walk out and the next second they're saying, see, Camille, you can't get us in trouble. I was just angry and I was fed up with it. And I went home and my mom asked what happened because she knew that the school was going to talk to me, and I told her that I was angry, and that's when I created Cam's Dare to Be Different. Next question is, how can I feel better if I'm feeling sad because I'm bullied? First of all, you should always know that someone is out there. You may not realize it, but someone is always out there who cares about you. You may not know it, you may not realize it when you're that sad, but someone is always out there who cares about you. So you can talk to a friend, a close family member. The counselors at school are really helpful. Or you can even go on my Facebook page and send me private messages and I can talk to you and help you through that. I've done that with a lot of kids, and you know, since I've been through it myself, I think it's more relatable for me to talk to you about it. The next question is, what do you like to do for fun? Well, I am really girly and I absolutely love shopping. I probably spend all my money on shopping. I also like writing. I am on my school's journalism staff, so I get to write articles and stuff all the time, and that's really fun for me. And I'm also kind of a bookworm and I love reading. I know that's kind of weird, but I absolutely love to just get lost in a book. The next question, what do you like to write and read? I can write anything from stories to news events, anything. I just love writing anything. But I really like reading sort of scarier books. I don't know, like mysteries and things like that are kind of more interesting to me. The next question is, do you sing? You know, I like to think I'm a singer in the shower, but I'm not very good. I think I'm tone deaf when I'm out of the shower. The next question, I think it's, oh, okay, here it is. What do you like to go out with your what do you like to do when you go out with your family? Well, me and my family always go out to dinner a lot, and we just like to talk and have fun, and that's sort of our way to be together as a family because I'm always doing something and my brother's always doing something with his sports and my dad's working and my sister's off at college right now, so getting together and going out to dinner gives us that close-knit family time, which is really fun. The next question, when you were bullied, what did you do to make yourself happy? Well, there wasn't really a time when I was bullied that I could actually be happy because I was in this sort of hole where I just felt sorry for myself all the time and I never really did anything that made me happy. Like I said, I was in my room all the time, I was crying all the time. But the one thing that did make me happy was when I was surrounded by all my family. I have a really big family on my mom's side. There's tons and tons of cousins, and just going over there and having that love and support from them always could put a smile on my face, and having my little cousins run around and play games and even have my big sister talk to me, it just made me feel a lot better. Next question is, do you think being bullied made you stronger? I definitely do, because I mean, I had self-esteem before I was bullied, but not as much as I do now, and since I've gone through such a rough time in my life, not only can I relate to people, but I've been built up to this point where now when someone says something to me, it doesn't affect me that much because I've been through it way worse, and I have a lot more self-esteem, and I'm a lot stronger and more confident now. The next question is, when she was bullied, were there other people around? Why do you think they didn't do anything? So yes, I had actually probably the worst night of my life was when I went to my school's rival football game, which was Huntley versus Jacobs. Any of you Huntley fans out there? And I actually went with one of my friends, and there was a huge group of my bullies there, and they followed me around the game. They were screaming at me, calling me names, telling me that they were going to beat me up, telling me they were going to get their older sisters to beat me up. And not even the friend I was with said anything. She just didn't stand up. She just kind of cowered back and said, like, let's go over here, let's go over there. And she wouldn't stand up for me. And personally, I think that being a bystander is worse than being the bully, because if you don't have the guts to stand up and say, no, what you're doing is wrong, then you have no backbone, and you're worse than the bully because you're a coward. So if you are standing there watching someone being bullied, you need to stand up and say something. Or if you don't think you have the courage to stand up and say something, then you should go and tell a teacher or a trusted adult about it. Never just let that victim stand there. The next question is, why do you think they didn't do anything? There's a lot of reasons. Probably one of them would be, that's their friend and they don't want their friend to think that they're not cool. Or a lot of people just don't want the bullying to turn around on them, and they don't want to be bullied themselves. But if you're just going to stand there and let someone be bullied, then you're just a coward and you're worse than the bully. So the next question is, what would you do if you see someone getting bullied? You should definitely either stand up for that person and say, no, what you're doing is wrong, you need to stop. Or take the victim away from the situation, take the bully away from the situation, and go and tell a teacher. Telling someone is the key point, otherwise it won't stop. The next question, did she feel confident enough to tell your mother? No, my friend that was there, she didn't tell my mom. I actually, after these bullies at the game were saying stuff to me, I went up by my mom because she was also at the game, and I just sat there and told her that I wanted to go home, and it was really cold that night, so she thought that it was just because I was cold. And when we got home that night, I was sitting in my room crying, and she asked me what happened, and I told her, and that's how she found out. So no, my friend didn't actually tell my mom. The next question is, did boys bully you or just girls? There were actually a few boys that did get involved after it had gone on for a long time. So about in the 8th grade was when a few boys joined in and started calling me a hairless cat. That was the name they came up with for me, and that's when they started to meow at me in the hallways and throw things at me. And actually at the game there was a huge group of them, and it was boys and girls. So there was like a group of 20 of them against just me and my friend that didn't even stand up for me. So the next question is, do you have a close relationship with your sister? How did she help? I actually do have a really close relationship with my sister. I talk to her all the time, and she's away at college right now, and it's really hard for me, and I miss her a lot. But she was always there. She always would talk to me and tell me that, things would get better, and she would always invite me to hang out with her and her friends, and, she's the older sister, so it's always cool to hang out with the older friends. So that was really cool. But she also told me that she wanted to have all her, bigger friends, because she had, really strong friends, say the boys, to say something to the bullies. And as tempting as that was, I never let her say anything, because then I would be letting her be the bully, and I didn't want her to be a bully. The next question is, what do I do if I feel powerless and the bullies keep coming? First of all, never feel powerless, because once you give up your power to the bullies, then it just is going to get so much worse. So you definitely need to go to a teacher And if the teacher doesn't do anything, go to the dean. If the dean doesn't do anything, go to the vice principal. If the vice principal doesn't do anything, go to the principal, yeah. If the principal doesn't do anything, go to the superintendent. And if nothing is happening, then you can file a police report, because cyberbullying is illegal. But I definitely think something will happen along those lines, so you should always go to someone you trust, and definitely tell your parents or at least a trusted adult to help get you through it. Because that was my problem. I didn't tell my mom right away, but once I told my mom, it got a lot better. My next question, what is my mission in life? My mission is, first of all, to talk to as many schools as possible, to touch as many people's lives as I possibly can. You know, there are so many suicides that happen a day, and it's so sad to see that another girl or another boy killed herself as young as, 10, 11, 12. Like, these are kids that aren't even experiencing life, and they're just being bullied to the point where they feel that suicide is the only option. And that's the thing that I really want to change, because I don't want anyone to ever give up and kill themselves just because they feel like they are worthless. And I know how that feels, and that's probably one of the worst feelings in the entire world. So I just want to touch as many people as I possibly can. The next question is, I saw on your Facebook page there were posts about kids who committed suicide. Yes, there were. I can't remember the names of them, but there were, I think, 3 girls who had just committed suicide because it was related to bullying and depression, and it's just terrible. I know the girls were in my area, and there was actually a boy too, and it's really sad. And I know that a lot of people that think that only girls are allowed to feel depressed and only girls are allowed to be like to be verbally bullied, and that boys are normally ones that are being physically bullied. But boys do get verbally bullied, and boys do have the tendency to kill themselves too because they're being bullied. And I think that the stigma against boys being depressed needs to go away. So the next question is, how many happen a week? I don't know how many happen a week. I know a lot do. Too many, and it's really, really sad. The next question, is your mom there? Can she say hi to us quickly? Yeah, my mom is here. Are you going to come say hi?
Hi, everybody. I'm Camille's mom. Okay, now I'm going to go away because I don't do well on camera.
Oh, this question isn't finished. Tangy.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. Wow, you had a lot of questions there. Do you need to drink some water?
I'm okay.
Perfect. Well, I wonder if there's anything else that you would like to share with us. Like, for instance, is there, I remember you mentioning your mission. Can you talk a little bit more about that? And
My mission is to get into as many schools as possible because that's where all the kids are, and I want to touch as many kids' lives as I possibly can to save them from suicide, and even to save people from starting bullying, because I know that a lot of people don't really realize that they're bullying someone, and once they hear my story, once they hear that, wow, they're going to start thinking about that, and that's going to put them into perspective the next time they come into a situation, and hopefully I can change both sides of it, not just the bullies, but the victims and the bullies as well. Yeah. I think you're on mute.
okay, there we are. So I understand you have friends now, right? You have a few close friends that you hang out with?
I have made a really good group of friends that are really supportive, and they help me with Cam's Dare to Be Different sometimes. And unfortunately, my friend was going to join today, but she couldn't make it, so maybe the next hangout she'll make it.
That's fantastic. And I'm glad you're talking about the next hangout. We're actually going to do it once a month. And the next hangout is going to be the end of November, the last weekend, the last Sunday of November. So hopefully more of you can join. You can ask any questions you would like. You can send them in to us, email them to us, and I'll send them over to Camille. And is there anything else you would like to share with us, Camille? Okay, perfect, perfect. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us. As you know, Camille has a mission, and her mission is to reach as many kids as possible, as many teens as possible, and to empower them, to give them inspiration. So any help, any way you can help us will be great. You can actually go to Camille's website. Camille, do you want to give them the website quickly?
It's a Facebook page. It's called Cam's Dare to Be Different.
Perfect, perfect. So you could go to either the Facebook page, or you could go to Cam's other website, which is Cam's Dare to Be Different. Actually, it's abbreviated. Cam's DTBD8. Let me give it to you again. Cam's DTBD.org, and you can go there. You can actually donate. The more donations she has, the more people she's actually able to reach. She's able to reach more kids, more teens, and help adults as well. So you can do that. You can also go to a Facebook page, and if you're interested in having Camille speak at your school or at an event, please do get in contact with us. You heard her say it yourself. She wants to reach as many kids and teens as possible. So, yeah, thank you very much. And is there anyone you want to give a shout out to? Anyone in your family or any friends, Camille?
I want to give a shout out to my mom, who's sitting there next to me and helping me out with this whole thing. And I also want to give a shout out to you, Taney, because this wouldn't be possible without you. And I'm so thankful to have you in my life.
Oh, thank you. And it's my pleasure to help you and be behind you 110%. So, yeah, we're here for you. Also, I don't know if you mentioned this, but there's a TEDx youth event happening on November 15th. And we're so excited that you're going to be at that event. That's going to be an international event, so you're going to be reaching kids and teens worldwide. So that's great. And also, yeah, I'm excited. Also, you have a book that you're writing, and that will be released next year. So I'm excited to see what you have to share with everyone. And what's the other thing? Wow, you have a lot going on. So what's that?
I have so much going on. It's exciting.
I know. So that's about it. I want to thank everyone, and I'm going to give it back to Camille, and I'll speak to you guys soon.
I just want to thank all you guys for watching, and I hope you guys will come and join me next time. I think that's all the time we have. Bye!